Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another video. Women go for the top men in their social groups. You know what? Let's be real. I'm gonna have to be raw with this. Even be racial with this. There's always this talk about women going for the top 1% man and everything, or that Chad, and even be specific with it. Be like, yeah, that's 6'2", white guy, chiseled features, all of that stuff, right? And that's some bull. Because first of all, people treat it like it's global, like every woman on the planet wants that top guy. And you get a whole bunch of guys thinking, well, if I don't look like that top guy, I'm not gonna make it. Even when they talk about like Tyrone or Enrique or Chang, always closest to that ideal. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Like, they just ethnic versions of Chad. Indeed, you even get some guys stupid as shit. And I'm gonna say stupid as shit, come for me. Talking about, well, if you're not white, you're not gonna get women. Meanwhile, you got some brothers in the hood, got multiple women, multiple kids, and they're about as far from being white as possible. Yet in some Hispanic communities, you got some dudes who ain't no damn 6'2", very brown skin, got a little bit of weight on them. Already got two children, two niños. I mean, come on. And in Asian countries, the same damn thing. Everything is not. That's a cultural thing right there. And even within the white community, it depends on the social class. Anybody who's been around maybe lower class whites, they see the guys who actually getting the women don't look shit like Chad. And then even within the black community, it's not some guy who looks like, some model or something. You go in some places, you be seeing some guys that got some weight on them, but have like 5 baby mamas. And it depends. And then you spread that out around the world. Every culture is going to look at a man differently. You got some cultures, they look at a man who got a little bit of weight on him as like ideal. He looks prosperous, shoot. He look like he got something going on. A big man. In Africa, that's a big thing. A big man. And indeed, it's to the point, you put what people think of as the top in some places, they're going to look at you. Even within racial groups. And, it's also about the subcultures and everything. Because what it is, if you look at women, they go for the top man still, but within their social group. Within their social group. Like I never forget, I was doing a seminar. I was at this New Age Expo, and there was a goth couple in the audience. Now, if that woman is a goth, and this is a white woman now, she a goth. She went for another goth. In fact, I have a acquaintance, friend. We kind of in the middle there between acquaintance and friend, who works at a local restaurant. She's totally tatted. Who she go for? A tatted guy. A slim, tatted guy. Because understand something. Women actually, despite that whole thing, that overblown thing about hypergamy, which technically is about moving up between classes, most women stay in their lane. Now, they'll still go for the top guy in their group. Like you get some guys in the black community talking about Pookie and Ray Ray. Every time somebody talk about that, I'm like, what hood you in? Because the women who will go for a Pookie and a Ray Ray are generally on that level. They generally lower class, just like Pookie. They the exact same class, no matter what clothes they put on. They generally fit right there. Because within the black community, you get some bougie women, more upper middle class women. Oh, you better be clean cut like a champ. And then, even depending on your subculture, you have a lot of, I would call them more holistic, within the black community, more holistic, strongly black nationalist types of women. They ain't going, they going for the most African looking brother they can find. So it's different. It's different. Shoot, within white communities, like you talk to some of those like a hippie community or something, the women are going to go for that guy who fits that aesthetic. See, that's the thing to understand. It's not so much, see, a lot of people trying to compare themselves to some crazy ideal and think that's global, but it depends on the women. It depends on their culture, who they're going to go for. Even what men go for. I saw a clip. It was about, these look like South Pacific women, and all of them were just what we would consider grossly overweight, but within that culture, that was a big deal. That was a sign of beauty right there. Shoot, you had some African cultures like that. You know, shoot, the women gotta go to the fattening room or something. So it's different. It's different. But then thinking about just focus on who women going for, it depends on your subculture. Depends on your social class. It depends on your religion. It depends on your religion, because it's not even just the aesthetics, but then it's the social factors. It's the cultural factors, social class, everything. So it's like, that's why I can look at a woman, I can pretty much get an idea, because knowing like the indicators of their class, their religion and everything, you can almost say, okay, to a great extent. There's always an exception, of course. There's always an exception. Actually, those exceptions are rare, because indeed you'll get more interracial couples than you get intercultural couples. Because the culture part, social part means how they get along, how they relate, where they hanging out at, you know, the religion. If you get a woman who's into crystals, she's reading the tarot cards and all of that, right? You know, wearing her hair more natural, wearing flowing clothes, wearing that tight stuff. Shoot, she gonna want a guy on that level. And I said this before, it's very rare you're gonna see a man who's suited, looking professional, hanging out with a woman who look like a hippie, you know? But the woman who's gonna go for that guy, she's gonna look professional herself, clean cut herself. And that woman, that hippie woman, she's gonna go for a guy who look like a hippie, you know? So there's all types of groups along racial lines, along cultural lines, along religious lines, along economic lines. And women just tend to, the closest to what people think of as hypergamy, it'll go with, she just want the highest man in that group. Seriously, that's why you get some guys, you know, they can be outliers or something, just totally against everything, and you know, they ain't trying to be like, have like the mainstream haircuts, anything, but they find their group and they the best in that group. So it depends, and that's the thing. If you're working to be the top man, just think about being the top man in your group, because indeed those are the type of women who are going to want you the most anyway. I want y'all to think about that. All right, so that's all I have for now. I'll get back with y'all later. Peace and blessings.